Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I have already drawn out my character here just for time's sake, just to save a lot of time. And if you will notice here over to my right, I have my layers panel here down to the lower right. Now, anytime I draw anything, whether it be in Illustrator or in Photoshop, I always create a different layer for all of my elements. For instance, for the shoes here, I've created its own layer. For the pants, I've created the own layer. For the shirt, I've created the own layer. And for the outline of the face, I created its own layer. And for the eyes, the nose and mouth, and the hair, it's all on its own layer. But when we go over into Photoshop to be able to animate this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to merge these layers together that actually make up the head. I'm going to merge the face outline, the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the hair, and all of that, so it can just be one piece, and so that I can actually show you how to animate that. Now, once you have your drawing in Illustrator already drawn out, all you have to do is go up to File, and we will do Export. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to save this to my desktop here. And before you do the export, make sure that you change this. You want to click Use Artboards, and you want to use this drop down here, and you want to click Photoshop PSD because you want it to be a PSD. And then you want to click the export button. And when you get to this next dialog here, make sure that you've got right layers checked, because if you choose flat images, then you won't get all the layers. So just make sure you got right layers checked, and then click OK. Then that will begin to export that as a PSD. So now it's saved on my desktop, so I'm going to go and grab that, and I'm just going to double click it, and I'm going to open it up in Photoshop here. And I always have mine on a transparency. I always use transparency. Now, sometimes, like for example, if you look over here, now that we're in Photoshop, to my eyes layers, it's actually in a group here. So what I want to do, I'm not going to really change anything. I'm not going to have to really recolor or draw anything. So I'm basically just going to right click on that group, and I'm going to do merge group. And that way it's all just on one layer. Now if I take and turn off the eyes, you can see the eyebrows and the eyes, all of the eyes layers disappears. Now it's all linked together. So now to be able to animate this, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take everything that makes up the head. I'm going to have to take the face, I'm going to have to click on the eyes, click on the nose, the mouth, the ears, and the hair. And what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to right click on those, and I'm going to do merge layers. So you want to merge all these layers, and I'm going to rename this layer. I'm just going to rename it the head. And so now I have the head. So if I turn off all the layers here by clicking this eye icon, then all of my head turns off at the same time. So they're all basically merged together, and that's what you want to animate. So now what you'll want to do is you'll actually want to make two copies of the head. You'll just want to right click on it and do duplicate layer, and then you want to right click on it on you can right click on the head copy that you've made and do another duplicate layer, and that way you've got actually two copies. So now to animate this, what you'll want to do, if your timeline is not already turned on, just simply go up to Windows and make sure you click where it says Timeline. And then once you have your timeline turned on, then you want to click this where it says Create Frame Animation. You'll want to click that, and that's going to basically put the first layer there. Now you want to take the head copy, and you want to actually move that however you want it. You want your head to move. I'm going to have mine moving from side to side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click, and I'm working on a Mac, I'm going to click Command and T, and that's going to actually give me a transform box so I can actually move this. So I'm going to take the first head copy and I'm going to move it just a little bit to the left, and then I'm going to click the enter button to accept that change. And then on this second head copy, I'm going to select it in the layer, and I'm going to click Command T again, and I'm going to move it in the opposite direction. So it will move just a little bit in the opposite direction. I'm going to click enter to accept that change. Alright, now to be able to put this in the timeline to make it animate, what you'll want to do is you're going to turn off the actual regular head layer here. You want to turn that off, and you're going to click on the head layer copy, the first copy you made, and right here you'll see this little arrow here. You can click this arrow and you'll want to go up to create new frame. Actually, what you want to do is you want to turn off the head copy too as well. So just make sure the first head copy that you want to incorporate is the only one. Turn off your normal head layer, then your head copy too. Each time you import one of these frames in, you want to make sure all the other layers of the head is turned off. So what you'll want to do is take head copy, then you'll go down to this arrow, and then you'll do a new frame, and it's going to place it down here in your timeline. And then you'll want to turn that head copy off, and you want to activate the head copy too, the second copy you made, because it's moved in a different direction, and you'll want to click the arrow and create a new frame with it. So now down here in the layers panel here, we actually have 3 frames, and as you can see, as I click one of these frames, one goes from one side, the other goes to the other side. And usually you can actually delete this last frame here because it is actually a duplicate copy. For some reason it will put that down there, but you can delete that. We don't really need that. All you have here is your 2 copies, one that you've made your head turn to the left, and the other you made your head turn to the right. So now you want to go down here, and below each frame you have a drop down little arrow. You can pick the seconds, how long you want it to move. So I'm going to have mine to go just 1 second, and I'm going to do this other one to 1 second. And if I just play it like this, it's going to move 1 second one time, and that's all it's going to do. So to make it animated, you want to loop it. So you'll go down underneath that where it says once. There's an arrow here. You can click that arrow and you'll go forever. Now it will, when I click the play button, it's actually going to move forever. And see how that's animated there. And to be able to export this, basically all you do is you'll go to save for the web, and you'll want to make sure that your GIF is selected, because it has to be a GIF image to be able to be animated. A PNG won't animate, it has to be a GIF. So choose your GIF, choose the save option here, and choose where you want to save it. I'm going to save this actually to my desktop, and I'm going to rename it so I don't overwrite my other image I have there, and I'm going to click save. Now once that's exported, you can go to the desktop here, and here's my actual image here. And to be able to test that, you can actually just open it up in a browser. If I open it up in Firefox, then you can see that it's animated. So that's basically how you take and you animate an image. Now you don't have to use Illustrator if you don't want to. I prefer to draw within Illustrator and then bring my image out into Photoshop just to animate it when I'm going to animate it. If you're better at drawing in Photoshop, then you can use everything inside Photoshop. You can draw in Photoshop, create your layers that you draw on, duplicate the layers that you want to animate, and it's just as simple as that. And this is how you create an animated character, or you can animate anything you want to animate easily inside of Photoshop.